What is up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we're looking at the PGL Cluj-Napoca 2025 playoffs. This was my lineup for groups. By the way, yeah, I changed 2 players from the video afterwards. I always tell about that stuff on Twitter. So I changed Senzu and Jota away to Vicadia and Blitz. I believe both of those would have done better than Vicadia and Blitz in the end, and the reasoning mostly being that even on the video I said that I'm not that high on Jota based on the price, which I guess I was wrong on, and then Senzu with the broken hand, also not quite it. But they ended up playing better anyways. Body was my cheap guy. 3 points is not bad for someone who costed 183. I would have hoped for more, and I mean mostly it's because 3D Max didn't do that well. Also, this roll wasn't very good, which we never knew what the actual best roll on Body would be. So top 20% isn't the worst. Could have gone better as well. But yeah, let's see how the playoffs go now. So this is the playoff bracket. I think there's a couple obvious favorites. Again, the same as for the group stage or for the Swiss stage. I'd say the favorites are Mongols, Eternal Fire, and FaZe. Basically the same as same idea as in the group stage is probably gonna follow here in the playoffs. Most locked because of that would be Mongols in my eyes. I think Pain, Maus, and Astralis are all teams that could do okay, especially Pain or Maus. I think Pain have the firepower, so do Maus. But Pain is hit or miss, very hit or miss team. They definitely could make it to the finals, but I wouldn't bet on it. Maus is looking a bit wobbly with the new leadership. Astralis I have no expectations for, so that also makes it a lot easier of a matchup for the Mongols. And Mongols has stage experience now. They've beaten Eternal Fire in Kato playoffs. They got top 4 there. So I think Mongols is just an obvious pick here as a double up. Then on the other side, Falcons Eternal Fire. I think Eternal Fire should just always win this. They've won both of their last 2 matchups 2-0 against Falcons. Falcons have only really gotten 1 win that I would consider in any way impressive, and that was in this tournament against Maus. But even that is nothing special. I still think they have maybe not a long road, but there is a road still for Falcons to become a contender in these events. And I do expect them to get there eventually. I think they have the player quality now, but it's too soon for them, I think, here. And Eternal Fire have a lot of hunger to prove themselves in these playoffs. On the other side, FaZe versus So, I think it's the easiest matchup in the whole playoffs. I think So only beating 3D Max made it here. So is a dead team. FaZe was looking very strong in the group stage. I think it's always going to be a FaZe victory in that one. The real question for me is just, do we double up on FaZe or Eternal Fire? Yeah, essentially that's the question, right? I think that's the real question. I went Mongols Eternal Fire double up last stage. But I think I might switch to a FaZe double up. Only because I think the Saw matchup is more easy than the Falcons matchup is for EF. And then the FaZe is maybe slightly favored against Eternal Fire. It's a very close matchup if they play each other in the semis. Have they actually played against each other recently or no? So yeah, FaZe won the matchup. Yeah, they played in this tournament already, but then in Kato, EF did beat FaZe. So it's both of them have won one of the last few matchups. Interesting. I think it's a very 50-50 matchup as well, so could go either way. I think it just mostly depends on what I like, depending on the players, and what my gut feeling is on either of these teams. Seems like people are very much so preferring FaZe in the draft. A lot of people, like all 5 FaZe players, are under the top 8 most picked players, and that's kind of crazy. I guess people are also showing faith in Mongols on the other side with Techno and Mezinio, and then Major as the cheap 5th for a lot of people. If I go double FaZe, Major probably is my 5th as well. Most likely at least. In terms of player prices, so I guess we should start out with the fact that we are going double Mongols, and it's just a matter of who I want to pick out of these players. I think I'm not going 9-10. I think that's the one thing I'm kind of determined already. I don't think I'm going for him because he was looking a bit shaky to my, like, just eye test wise last stage. I think Blitz is decent for that price. I think Senzu for 215 seems like he is able to play. If he had a broken hand, seems to have recovered pretty well. And then Techno is decent for the price, pretty much always. And then Mezinio is also an option. Mezinio was very expensive last stage, so he must have had slightly worse group stage here, I would assume. Got it. And yeah, 1.01 rating, and Kato was 0.98. So far this year he hasn't had like the greatest time, Mezinio, but I think we can still expect him to play well, and he's always going to be triggering this headshot percentage roll and also the booster, so, or at least commonly going to trigger those. I think I would be considering all of the players on Mongols except for 9-10. In terms of other players, Cadian's the cheapest guy in the whole tournament, but don't want, like, if I was to go for a really just a gambly lineup, I think I would go for a Pain Gamble, Davideus, and basically any other player, any of the players from Pain, because I think they have a decent shot of beating Mouse. I wouldn't go for Mouse personally, but if you are going Mouse, I think Jimmy for 203k is a steal. I wouldn't go for Zershan because he's a known playoffs choker. Maybe Broland then for this price. I don't know. But yeah, I am gonna be mostly considering players from this bracket of players. I kind of want to go for the FaZe double up rather than the EF double up, just for the fact that I think they are gonna win against Cho more conclusively, and I also think the heads up is 50-50, but maybe very slightly FaZe favored. So yeah, then it would be a Major as a kind of 5th player. What are, like, can I do from this? Yeah, I can. This leaves 4k in the bank, which isn't like great. I don't think there's gonna be any easy upgrades. No, like, you'd have to go Carrigan then, is essentially what I'm trying to figure out here. Do we have to go Carrigan? Should we go Carrigan? Or should we not go Carrigan? It's gonna be a very picked lineup, but it makes so much sense to me. I'm not mad at anyone going for like EF as the double up instead of FaZe, by the way. I think I already looked at one lineup. I believe it was this. Then was it this? No, it must have been Senzu then. Yeah. So this is the lineup that I was looking at with like Brokey. Brokey for 207k seems like a very good price to me. He usually does pretty well in like higher stakes games. Major Jota, going more in the EF direction. Jota has been just convincing, I guess, and that's under 200k for him. So, but I think personally, I think FaZe is gonna do better here. This lineup just seems pretty damn good, not gonna lie. I think this might be better than Carrigan, Senzu instead of these guys. Oh no, wait, it was a different lineup altogether. Like, yeah, with Carrigan you can do quite a lot here. Senzu Blitz is a huge upgrade over Techno Messinio, but how big of an upgrade is it really? I feel like the thing about the Mongols is that everyone is actually very capable at shooting and could have that kind of pop-off performance, whereas Carrigan, man, like, we would have probably 3 games of Carrigan playing, and I'm not that convinced that he's gonna get good ratings against these teams, even against Saw. Whereas Rain, he's a known playoffs, like really good playoffs player, right? I think this is just the lineup. It's a pretty damn boring lineup, I'm not gonna lie. Go for the symmetric. Look here. I don't know. I feel like this is just the best lineup. We're doubling up on the 2 best teams. We don't have to go Carrigan. I think Major is the best cheaper option. Let's actually check what the other cheaper options are. Just in case Major isn't actually. So, like, that's actually something to consider. We don't go Major. Can we upgrade someone on, for example, the Mongols? So with Biguzera, no, but Biguzera is same price as Major. I don't want to go for a Saw player. Actually, yeah, Saw players are cheaper than Cadian. Dan. I don't want to go Cadian. This is like all of the cheaper. Yeah. No, it is just Major out of these players in my eyes. I'm happy with this lineup. I think we're gonna have probably pretty decent rolls here as well. I would assume Brokey gets not that much op action. Interesting. Messinio on headshots should be pretty damn safe. 81%. 5. That's crazy. It was also decent on that. 36-47. That's actually a very good support percentage. You could also go leader on someone, but I'm not sure about that. I have no clue who's gonna win, for example, in the finals. Major's great on the eco-friendly. Could also go support though. Kind of depends here. Rain isn't really an entry anymore. He's more of an anchor. He's also great on the headshots, that's true. But Messinio probably has no great roles apart from headshots. Yeah, not great. What about Brokey? 32-29. Camper might be Brokey's best role here. Yeah, go Camper on Brokey. Rain and Major. So the Rain role is a bit of a question mark here. There's nothing that great. Like headshots is by far his best role, but we have Messinio who has really insane headshots and also probably struggles with other roles. Yeah. I think it might just be IGL on Rain. And we just hope that I mean, they're always like 2-0ing Saw in my eyes. That's just happening. So I'm gonna go with IGL on Rain. Even though there's a chance of it kind of costing me a little. And then eco-friendly on Major. Yeah, these are pretty good rolls. Like, I have more faith in Mongols making the finals than FaZe making the finals. But the difference is that if FaZe makes it to the finals, it's so much better to have Messinio with headshot machine. Like, this is such a crazy percentage. Boosters. Just throw the best boosters on straight away, I guess. So Avenger, who's the best Avenger? Brokey. Best case T. Messinio. Pistol. Techno is actually decent. This is good. Then who's left? Rain. And T-side is probably still doing some of this, but it's against Saw. Assist. Sure. Rain on the assist. Should be pretty free booster points on some of those. So yeah. I'm happy with this lineup. I don't think this is gonna change. I know I've changed lineups the last couple events, or not last couple events, but in the past events, I've done it more than probably whole of all of like last season. But there were some pretty good reasons to change lineups. Um. So yeah, I'll continue doing it if it feels correct to do, but I would assume that this lineup is gonna stay like this. It just looks better than the other lineups I had in mind. So yeah, if you enjoy this kind of content, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.